Hello, hello. Hopefully you're working quite hard right now. But what we're going to talk about today is some things that I've been working on. So we are working on a lot of merch products of trying to get these going in Pinterest. That's what everyone is working very, very hard on. So if you have questions right now, go ahead and drop them in the comments below so that I can help you answer some of those questions. If you're working on this stuff, I know there's a lot of people that are working really, really hard on their Merch by Amazon products, trying to get them onto Pinterest because we are in a freeze. So for those of you selling on Merch by Amazon, we're sitting in a freeze still. Nobody can upload, nobody can edit, nobody can do anything. So you might as well be diving into your marketing and do as much as you possibly can there. So now is the time for you to get into Pinterest, get your profile created, get your boards created, excellent keywords, start working on all of this stuff. Start getting some product pins going that you're going to create for marketing all of your products. Get your pinning going inside of your scheduler. Use Tailwind that I prefer to use. That works out really, really great. Get your pin descriptions going on all of your pins and make sure you've got keywords everywhere. Keywords in your profile, in your boards, titles, and your board descriptions, keywords in your pin descriptions. That's how you get found on Pinterest, because Pinterest is really a search engine. It's not necessarily, it's a social media site, but people don't go there to necessarily be real social. They go there because they're window shoppers. They're looking for things to buy, things to do, things that they want to check out later if they save it into their board, things that they want to take action on either now or later, but they are things that they're highly interested in. And the majority of the people that are on Pinterest are shoppers. So that's why you need to have a presence on Pinterest if you are a business of any kind. It would be a very, very wise and smart idea for you to get there immediately. Okay, so I want to talk about this, this guide. So there's a lot of people that have been coming into the Pinterest for e-commerce course by Pin Traffic Power. You've been coming into the course and the questions have been rolling in about, where do I start? Where do I begin with a course? There's a lot of videos in there. There's over 50 videos, so I do understand that it's overwhelming. However, it's made for all of e-commerce, not just one little small area. So Merch by Amazon is just one tiny area of all of e-commerce. Certainly, we can cover it in more detail, which is what we're doing right now. But I also have videos in there about Shopify, how to get your Shopify store set up, get your Bible pins going. If you have a WordPress blog for the bloggers, how to get that going, how to optimize your blog so that it's really going to get traction from Pinterest traffic. And the reason why I included so much that's involved with e-commerce is because I actually really do all of these things and can see the benefits of driving Pinterest to all of those areas, no matter what marketplace that you're in, or if you are a blogger and you have a WordPress blog, or if you have a Shopify store. So I do all of those things and it works really, really well. So that's why I put the course together, because I felt like it needed to be shared within those who are involved in e-commerce. They may not know or understand the value of Pinterest. A lot of people who are bloggers, they really do understand Pinterest and the value of Pinterest, which is fantastic. So they're kind of ahead of the game than what people are in the e-commerce world. And so think about that and think about what you can learn from that. So I'm kind of in both worlds, to be honest with you, and have things in both areas of the blogging world and the e-commerce world. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying to share with you the knowledge and the insights, the experimentations that I've done that work really well, things that I'm currently experimenting with or trying, whatever it is that I'm doing that might pick up traction. I'm sharing that with you in the course, which I think is, it's just a really fun thing for us to get together and work together on our businesses, is what it's really all about. So that's what is going on with the Pinterest for e-commerce course. So in order to help address getting everyone focused, because I think that's what it is. I think it's just everyone is gearing up for the new year. We're setting goals and we're getting ready for 2018 for our marketing, which is awesome. That's what we all need to be doing. And one of the goals for a lot of people is to market outside of wherever they're selling, or to drive traffic into their Shopify store, drive traffic to their blog, drive traffic to wherever their products are located. It doesn't matter if it's in a marketplace or on your own internet real estate territory that you have. It doesn't matter. It's all there for a reason. So with this Pinterest, what we can do with it is we can focus it in different areas. So what's really cool and awesome is with a lot of people who are doing Merch by Amazon coming into the course for learning, is the feedback has been phenomenal to say, hey, how can I focus my Pinterest marketing on just Merch by Amazon and that's it? Just focus there first, and down the road, if we want to, we can tackle the other things later. So your goal could be, hey, I want to start a Shopify store and connect that with a print-on-demand company, which is what I do, and it's fantastic. The profit margins are much higher, much higher than what you're going to receive in any print-on-demand company, including Merch by Amazon. So it's definitely worth your consideration and time to open a Shopify store and to connect a print-on-demand company. Now, what's different is that you need to drive your own traffic to your store. You do not have automatic traffic at all. So 90% of your time is going to be marketing, driving traffic in. And what I have found is the organic traffic that you get from Pinterest does really well. It does very well for you, especially if you're on a budget and you don't want to spend any money. Quite frankly, you can spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in your marketing, especially with Facebook ads, and you may not see a lot of huge results. I've done that. I've seen that from my own experience. So be very careful there. You really have to know what you're doing with running some ads with Facebook. You can run Pinterest ads too, but I don't think that's your starting point. It really isn't. Your starting point is the organic sales. Let's see at what pins we can get to pick up organically in the feed on Pinterest. And then from there, you're going to notice some of your pins start to take off. The ones that begin to take off, those are the ones that you want to do sponsored pins for, which is running an ad on Pinterest. And that's the basics of that is inside the course as well. Okay, so let's talk about this guide, and let me share my screen with you all. So let's see here if we can't get this done. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to the guide. This is inside of the group, the Pin Traffic Power group, for those who are taking the Pinterest for e-commerce course. So it's only for people right now that are inside of the course. You've signed up for the course, you're taking the course. This is a guide that I've put together that basically helps you as a course guide focus in on what do I need to do right now to get set up to start promoting my Merch by Amazon products. So this is what it is. It's your course guide. And what we do is it takes you through all of the modules where it shows you how to get your business account set up, talks about that, exactly what you need to do. It goes step by step. So literally step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I'm trying to make it as easy and as clear as possible to know what videos to watch, which ones you can skip that you don't really need. If you're on a fast track, I do label the fast track right here. So if you're on a fast track, here it says skip these videos. You know, you might possibly want to skip some other videos too. Think about it, decide if you want to do these other videos, or maybe you already have a design program that you want to use instead, okay? So anything that's optional is stuff that, hey, that's up to you, but definitely, you know, you don't have to do that right now. You can come back to it later. The fast track, you know, skip that step, come back to it later. Meaning it's not highly important right now if you are in a hurry, which I was getting the feeling that many people are in a hurry right now of hurry. I've got to get this rolling on Pinterest. And so that's great. So I put in here a fast track so that you could see what you need to do, what you need to skip to keep you focused. You could come back to anything that is optional later, and you could deal with those things later. They're not absolutely important for you right now. So essentially, I think you could have your profile, your business profile keyworded, everything set up in a weekend, all of your boards created and keyworded in a weekend. You could also start creating some of your pins and get at least, you know, have a goal of at least 10 to 20 that you could create really fast. And then you could be able to get some other things going, like, you know, get pinning to your board, get your board descriptions. That could be skipped for later. You could come back to it once you get your pins going, get your pin descriptions going in your pins, spend more time on that, then come back and keyword your boards. But you really have to do all of those steps. I mean, you've got to have a board, right, in order to pin to it. And if you want your board to be found on Pinterest, you're going to have to do a little bit of research to find the keywords to get into your board. Otherwise, it's kind of fruitless. No one's going to find your board. So therefore, they're not going to find anything that you put inside of your board. So you have to be careful about not skipping too many things. So I'm telling you exactly what to skip here and what you need to pay attention to inside of this guide, this course guide. I also have a keyword mastery section for you to really understand in writing. So if it's not clear in the video, maybe by reading through it, you can see examples again and be able to keyword up your boards really well. Hashtags, because that is a brand new thing that happened this past fall. Your keyword your board sections, which started just last month. That's a very new thing, to add sections into your boards. You can organize your boards very easily that way. So instead of creating way too many boards that are hard to manage, you can create sections within your board. Talk about how to find the hashtags on Pinterest to use. You don't need to have tons of hashtags because it's a very new thing. The Pinterest Smart Feed is just now incorporating in hashtags. Before that, they didn't really mean anything inside of Pinterest. We go on to the keyword mastery for your pins, because that's a whole really important piece of the puzzle too. So your keywords on your boards and your pins are two major pieces that's going to make you successful on Pinterest. The third component is just creating the pins themselves and getting your pins in the way that Pinterest prefers them to look and the way that they will get noticed. So Pinterest is telling us the dimensions that we need to have for the pins. And at 735 by 1300, we need to take those dimensions and use at least their minimum. And here's why: because it's their smart feed. And if your pins are the box pins, if you're pinning directly from Amazon, and you're going to get that square box picture, and you're not creating a pin yourself, that box picture is going to get lost in the Pinterest feed. Pinterest is not going to pick that up in the smart feed because it doesn't meet their minimum requirements for a pin image. So at the very least, do the minimum requirements for the pin image, which means you're going to have to take the time to download a picture of your product, use something like Stencil or Canva, Photoshop, whatever it is, create a pin, make sure you've got text overlay over the top of that, get at least one picture of your product in the pin and make it big enough, make your product big enough so that it covers a good 75% of the space in that pin, so it's easy to see your product. If you're just doing one product, blow it up so that they can really see it. And if you are showing a design on your shirt, make sure that it's blown up enough to where they can see the design on the shirt. That way they can see what it is, and they're more likely to save it or click through to see what's on the other side. Okay, so then developing your marketing strategy, you want to get your tailwind going. That way you can start pinning on a regular basis and schedule it all out. And then again, there's fast tracks in here, what to skip, what to pay attention to. Your analytics is just going to be your Pinterest analytics at this point. And then your instructions here are promoted pins. So that's what is all happening inside of this little course guide. Oh, sorry, I was screen sharing and no one saw it. I hate that when that happens. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see if I can try it again so you get an idea of what it looks like. So yeah, I was talking to myself and not able to share my screen real well. So let's try it again and I'll check to make sure, because sometimes this doesn't work like it should with the screen sharing. So let's find out if I can't do this better for you. Sorry about that. And I'll show you what it looks like. Okay. So now are you able to see this okay, the guide of what it looks like? And you can just let me know here. I'll have to come back and read the chat. Sorry about that you couldn't see the screen. There it is. All right, good. Sorry. Here, I hate that when that happens because I'm trying to show you all this stuff and you're not able to see it and it doesn't do anybody any good. I'm just talking to myself. So here is your guide for the course guide specifically for the Merch by Amazon track. So this is what it looks like. So you're getting a sneak peek on the inside. If you are a part of the course, then this is in the file section of the Facebook group that we have associated with the Pinterest for e-commerce course. So I'm creating these course guides that are specific tracks for whatever it is that you're selling or whatever marketplace that you're in. So the first request was Merch by Amazon because right now we're in a freeze. People have time on their hands. What they're doing is instead of just sitting around and doing nothing, they're saying, hey, we need to gear up and get marketing on Pinterest, get our stuff in front of people. Let's get all of our setup now done on Pinterest so that you could just have a regular routine of creating your pins and scheduling them in Tailwind and pinning them out so that you get your products, your Merch by Amazon shirts seen before more eyes and more people. And then whenever we have a situation, there's been talk, we've had the throttling going on. There's been a lot of talk about how with that throttling, there were a few people that did some Pinterest marketing and they felt like they were able to get their sales directly from Pinterest, and it kind of surpassed all of the throttling that was going on because it was coming from outside of Amazon. You see, so this is where driving traffic in from outside of Amazon is going to be very, very important for you. If you want to bypass possible things where Amazon might want to control what is happening in their search engine. So you can bypass that by driving the traffic in, and that's what they want you to do anyways at this point. So it's a good idea for you to start now. So again, let me show you real fast everything here. You've got your fast tracks. Every module is in here, showing you exactly what videos to watch, which ones you can skip, what things are optional that you don't need to do right now, and maybe not even at all. It may not even apply to you. For some, it may. They may want to choose to do those things. So it's kind of your choice if it's optional. Create your pins, get going on stuff. I show you the dimensions that we have to have 735 by 1102 is a minimum for Pinterest in pixels. So 735 by 1102 pixels minimum is what you need to have. But I like to make them bigger. Why? Because I can fit more products on a pin a lot easier, or I can blow the picture of the product up way bigger so that you can see it. I have plenty of room to get text on the pin as well. I can experiment with different things like the text itself. What is the font that I'm using? I can experiment with the color that's on the text. I can experiment with any kind of background color if I use one, which is actually not very often. White is pretty much what I use the majority of the time. That works great. The different background colors I found, I'm not sure that it really makes that much of a difference, but make sure that you can still see your product really well. Light colors work the best if you're going to do any kind of a background whatsoever, but otherwise keep it white. Decide what you're going to use. What kind of software tool are you going to use to create your pins with? There's all kinds of free tools out there, and then some that you may already have. If you are a graphic designer and you are designing your own t-shirts right now, just use what you're using. It'll work just fine for you to create some pins with. And you can do your custom dimensions inside of Canva. Canva is absolutely free, so use that. You can build out a team of people. If you get the paid version of Canva, you can build out a team. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I just I'm in the process of hiring someone, a VA, who is going to do nothing but just create Pinterest pins and be able to do it probably faster than what I can. And I'm going to put her as a team member inside of my Canva account. So you have to upgrade to the business account, which is a little over $100 a year. And you're able to add team members in. You can have color palettes so that you've got your color palette for your branding. If you're wanting to do branding, you can upload your logo, all of that. I teach you in here how to 10x this. So if you are trying to get a lot of pins created, I'm showing you here how you can up your game on different ways that you can create multiple pins for just one product, and showing you all of that information. So you get a little bit of a sneak peek here about what's going on. Here's the keyword mastery for the boards, a whole section here on how to master that, how to find your hashtags, how to write out your board descriptions, how to then master your pin descriptions. A whole section on that is added in. There's a couple more things that I want to put in there yet to make it very easy for you, so that if in the videos aren't helping you enough, maybe for some people it's reading that is better than the videos, so you can come here instead to master the keywords. If there's one thing that you need to master with Pinterest, it is definitely the keywords. Definitely the keywords. The keywords is what's going to help people find the pin in the first place. The second thing to master would be to create pins, the pin image that looks enticing, that makes it want people to save it or to click through the pin. That would be the second thing that you want to master. All right, so keywords first, pin images second. That's what you need to master second. Develop your marketing strategy. Think about seasonal things that you can do. How I tell you how to do that very quickly in all of these steps. So this is like your fast track guide to getting started, so that you're not overwhelmed with so much of the information in the course. It is a big course. There's a lot of stuff in there because it is for all of e-commerce. And I had decided, instead of creating a separate course for just Merch by Amazon, it would probably just be smarter instead to do it differently and just create a course guide for you if you are doing Merch by Amazon. If you are doing some other on-demand company, let me know, because I could create a course guide for you to help you zero in on what videos to watch, where to go through in the course. If you are doing just Shopify, let me know. I can do a course guide for you on just Shopify, so that you can skip all the other stuff that doesn't apply, and I can tell you what it is that you can skip. If you are a blogger and you just do blogging specifically with WordPress, let me know, and I can do a course guide for you so that you are on the blogger track. So what I'm doing is I'm creating out these separate tracks for you. So wherever you're at in your e-commerce marketing, it helps you to focus. It helps you to plan. It helps you to strategize exactly what you're going to be doing, especially through this new year. Okay, I want to answer a couple questions here because I don't want to lose that before anyone leaves. So yeah, sorry that I didn't get the screen sharing done very well. I have to get better at this. So I will get better at this. Please be patient with me and bear with me on that. All right, Scott says, I'm excited to start Pinterest first quarter and see how well it can do for my merch biz. So am I. I think that's awesome. So if you're not already in the course, go ahead and sign up for the course, join a bunch of other Merch by Amazon people who are in there. We've got a lot of them in there. We have some experts in there. Some people who have been doing Merch by Amazon for a very long time. We got some pro people in there, some experts. And so what's going to be awesome about that is the experimenting that we're going to be doing to find out what works and what doesn't work and what can we zero in on. So that's really cool. Hey, Lauren, how's it going? Yeah, don't worry about missing the first part of this. It's all being recorded. It is loaded up into YouTube as well. So if you miss any of these, you can go to YouTube, subscribe to Pin Traffic Power, and you'll be able to watch any of these videos that are there. And of course, you could watch them just live on the Pin Traffic Power Facebook page as well if you want to watch any of them that are open to the public. We do some of these that are closed for just the people who are in the course. And that training is more specific. In fact, it's very, very specific training for those that are just in the course. And that's the live training that we do every single month. So after Christmas, I will be doing another live training video. Probably it needs to be focused on just Merch by Amazon, and will be very, very specific about steps that we can take and applying everything that I have put together in this course guide and showing you exactly how to do that. So we'll do that after Christmas. Okay. Scott says, I've been at it for 2 years, relying mostly organic traffic. It's now my full-time gig. That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. So if you have any tips to share, please, share this with all of us. Different things that you're doing that are doing really, really well, so that we can all learn and kind of grow together. That's really cool. Okay, let me show you some things on Pinterest. So we're going to experiment again. So let me do this correctly now of sharing my screen. And I'll make sure that you can see this. All right. Okay. You can see my screen now. Cool. I'm going to get better at this. So one thing that I did in the course guide is I shared an example of this pin that I created a long time ago. It actually goes to Sunfrog. You can put here's a tip, you can put a collection together on Sunfrog and you can link it over to a Pinterest pin that you create. And so this is not my product. It's not my t-shirt. I did not create this. It's someone else's, but I'm using it to create a Pinterest pin because I thought it was a great example and it's hilarious. And I thought it would draw people in. And it did. There's about 23 people so far. You can see the statistics down here in the corner. So when you click on that little pin stat in the corner, you can see how many times it's appeared. So Pinterest has allowed this pin to show 309 times since October 11th. So that's pretty good. Pinterest is interested in the total engagements. And the total engagement so far is 23, so it's not bad. We've had one click over. I would love to see more clicks on this than what there is. So I would need to give it more time, first of all. Sometimes it takes a good 3 to 6 months for a pin to really take off. It's not going to take off next week. Very rarely does it happen. It does happen, but it's not that often. This is a long-term game. And then, how many close-ups has there been? A lot of people who do Pinterest do mobile. They do Pinterest on their phone. So what they do is they look at something closer on their phone. So that's why you want to make sure that you blow up the picture of the shirt design so that it covers a good portion of that pin to make it easier to see. Then people are more likely to click on it. They want to read what it says and want to look at it closer. If they can't tell what it is, they're just going to pass it by. So here's another example of one where it's a cool shirt, but it's just a small box like this because I just pinned it directly from Sunfrog, and you can see the difference. There's only been 10 total engagements, 0 clicks, 0 saves on this, and it's the same date, October 11th. So I'm trying to show you why it would be better for you, even though it takes more time and more effort, to create your own pin. And do not just pin directly from the site. What happens is this little tiny box image, it gets lost. And it's not the minimum requirements for the pin image anyways. So I think what happens is Pinterest just doesn't show it as often in the smart feed. They really don't. They don't allow it to appear. They control the smart feed and they don't allow it to appear. There are some other things that do go viral very well, like this one, 8.4 thousand. This one was going viral within a week, and it's because it's a GIF. So if you have any GIFs that you want to create, they do phenomenal. They do really, really, really well. So let's look at the stats on that one. Look at it a little closer. Okay, 8,383 total engagements, 432 saves. That is remarkable. 34 clicks going to the websites. Over close to 8,000 close-ups on this one. So it's because it's engaging. They know it's a GIF, and so they want to see what it is. And a lot of people saved it. And yes, it did have clicks going over through to a website, quite a few. So this is a good example of a pin that went viral. Now, because this is a GIF, these are not going to be the minimum dimensions, like this big pin that I created over here. It's not going to meet that minimum size. However, what I found is that it does do well because it is a GIF. You can see where it shows this little play button. And so people want to click on that pin because they want to play it. They want to see what it's going to do when they click on it and play it. So it's a way of entertainment. Here's another one that I created that is a GIF. It's have 541 total engagements. It did go viral as well. It's a very, very small box, but people notice it because they see that play button. So let's look at the statistics on this one. It's appeared close to 6,000 times since July 26, 541 total engagements, 16 saves, 3 clicks. I would rather have had higher clicks than that, but it's okay. It went viral enough to where if I put that in my board with my t-shirts, it's going to help it do really, really well. Now let's take a look at some things here to think about. So get an idea of Amazon. And when I type that in and I see this scroll down here, you're going to see different keywords, different ways. This is a suggestive search, a suggested search. You can see what people are searching for. So if you wanted to, you could put your shirts on a board and say, Amazon things to buy on. People really do search for specific Amazon stuff on Pinterest. So if you want to have that as part of your strategy, you certainly could, and say, I'm going to base a board somehow around Amazon because people really do search for Amazon specific products. They are big fans of Amazon and they want to find stuff that they can buy on Amazon. You can also experiment, look and see the different ways that people are creating pins. They put together gift guide pins of the best things under $25 on Amazon. So if you're doing the Amazon affiliate program, you could do that, but you cannot use Amazon affiliate links in your pins. You have to do that somewhere else. So that would mean you would need to start a website. And it would be a good idea at that point to do that. You could put your affiliate links in your website, in your blog. Okay, but you can't do them directly on Pinterest. The Amazon affiliate program says that Pinterest is not one of their approved social media sites. Twitter and Facebook are. So I hope that they change that. That would be great. But that's the status of that at this point. So you can get an idea of different pins all about Amazon on here in different ways. Lots of popular stuff. There is some things on here like notice that I did merch and then I put in a B. Merch by Amazon is popping up now more and more as as a keyword here. It's not as strong, but I just find that to be really, really interesting. I think it's more in the topic area, and you can see that it's popping up like this: merch by Amazon shirts, merch by Amazon ideas. If I hit return to see more keywords, you can see what's coming up. So only a few things, not that much. So I don't know that I would take the strategy of creating a board saying merch by Amazon shirts, because now you're going to, there's a copycat problem. You're going to advertise that to your competitors who are also using Pinterest. They might start copying your stuff. You don't want to do that. So I don't know that this is a good strategy to do that. If you want to use an Amazon in general strategy, you could, and you could put other stuff in your Amazon board besides t-shirts, whatever you want to do. It could be. I honestly don't think that that needs to be your main focus either. What I would do instead is, if you're selling t-shirts, just look up t-shirts. What kinds of t-shirts are they? And start grouping your t-shirts together in different ways. So if you have a certain niche, then you want to make a board based around that niche area. And if you have a lot of t-shirts to fill a board in that niche area, you would call it whatever your niche is, t-shirts. So let's say winter. Let's see if there's any t-shirts popping up for winter. Yeah, there is. So you could see that there are some people looking for winter t-shirts. And this is kind of a seasonal board, but yet at the same time, it's a t-shirt board. So you're kind of doing double dipping here. And that's telling me that there are plenty of people who are looking for winter t-shirts that might say something about wintertime. So if you are gearing up for the Winter Olympics and you've got some winter t-shirts, they might want that. You could create a Winter Olympics board to put your t-shirts in that are winter themed. And then you could also create a winter t-shirts board if you want to, or create a section within a general winter board where you have winter t-shirts as one of your sections. Maybe it's Winter Olympics is another section. So there's a lot of ways that you could do that and organize that. So we have winter t-shirts. We have ideas, winter t-shirts for women, outfit, fashion, casual. You can get the idea here. Let's do Valentine's. If you have Valentine's Day stuff, this is huge. So Valentine's Day gift ideas. Let me type this correctly so we get some better stuff. So Valentine's Day, all kinds of stuff going on. We have Valentine's Day gifts for him. So you could create, if you got a lot of Valentine's Day t-shirts, you could create a Valentine's Day gifts for him board and put a bunch of your t-shirts in there. You could do, maybe it's just Valentine's ideas. Valentine's, usually we see the word gifts appearing up here, so we might have to scroll around to see it. Let's see if it pops up here. Okay, Valentine's gift ideas. Valentine gift ideas for boyfriend is very specific. Valentine's gift for boyfriend. Notice that there's a lot of female shoppers over here, so they're shopping for their men. Valentine's gift ideas for him. Valentine's gift for boyfriend. if we hit Valentine's gift, you can see what else. So you can decide how you want to market your stuff. You could do seasonal boards, seasonal niche, seasonal areas. You could do specific topical niche areas, because we all know that the niches do well. That's where people are doing their best work on Merch by Amazon, and you can take those niches out over here to Pinterest, because they will also do very, very well. And of course, Valentine's Day, we have ideas, gifts. There's a lot of stuff that you can explore here to figure out. So Winter Olympics, Valentine's Day is coming up. Those are two major things. Just the winter season is huge. That's coming up as well. Well, we are in the winter season, so that's huge. You could create boards and a board or topics within different boards that are winter related. Do spring gardening coming up, so go ahead and get your shirts. If you have gardening or outdoor type shirts, get those going as well. Let's answer a few more questions here about some stuff, because I was busy, didn't get to read all of these. Okay, didn't know that animation can do that. Yes, a lot of people don't realize that Pinterest, as of I think it was last summer, began allowing GIFs on Pinterest, and people love to see that animation. And there's different tools and software that you can use to create GIFs that are available out there. Here's another question. This is a really good question. So let's see if we can't show this one. What would be the greatest benefit of having a paid Pinterest business account? Okay. So to answer that, first of all, Pinterest is free. You don't have to pay for using Pinterest. It's absolutely free, and a business account is also free on Pinterest. So there's nothing that you have to do to pay to have a business account on Pinterest. That's awesome. Okay. Now, the benefits of using a business account rather than a personal account on Pinterest is the analytics. So when I was showing you those pin analytics and the engagements, you're not going to see that if you are using your personal account. So you can't really track how well you're doing. You don't know what your top performing pins are or what your top performing boards are. And that's really good information for you to know, so that you can understand what works for you, what works for your niche area, what works for your business, and then just do more of it. So the tracking through the analytics is very valuable. The second important thing that is very useful with a Pinterest business account is the ad campaigns. You're able to run sponsored pins. You can't do that in a regular personal Pinterest account. So that really helps you. If you have a pin that has gone viral, that one would be worth using as a sponsored pin, and you could create a certain dollar amount per day so that would get an even further reach. Now, when you do the sponsored pins with Pinterest, you get usually around 30% additional clicks for free from people. Okay, so that would be people sharing the pin. They're actually saving it to their board is what they're doing. They're saving that pin. Or it's a click through where they click through the pin to go to the website, wherever it's leading to. And you get up to 30% of those for free, just simply because Pinterest is showing it more often. And when they show it because you're paying them to show it, what happens is when those people save it to their board, then their people see it. And then their people might save it to their boards. And then it just keeps snowballing like that, just one after another, where they share it. One person shares it, another person shares it, and they just save, and it just keeps going. So that's why it's really important that you to run a pin, a sponsored pin on a pin that is already performing well for you, because you're going to get a lot of free clicks and free saves out of the deal, because it will snowball. One person will save it and then when they save it, their audience sees it in the news feed. So then what do? They save it. And then their audience sees it in the news feed, and then they save it. So it has the potential to reach way farther than what you ever imagine. And some of that you may not even pay for, which is kind of cool with the sponsored pins. The lifespan of one pin on Pinterest can be for years. It can be for a very, very long time. Okay, let's look at some other questions that have popped up here before we quit. $100 per year, Scott, for a business account. That was for Canva. That's just a Canva is actually free, but if you are trying to develop a team where you're hiring someone to create Pinterest pins for you, then you need to have the business account for Canva, which is a little over $100 a year. I think it's $110 a year. That's just for Canva. And all that does is it helps you to create your Pinterest pins. You can also create other things inside of there too for social media marketing. So it's not just Pinterest, but you can even create a brochure if you want to, or you can create posters. There might be other things that you want to create besides Pinterest pins, but that's the main purpose of using it if you are using it for Pinterest. And you can then add in team members where they have a separate login to the Canva account, and then you can all create templates that you share. And so you kind of work together as a team, and you're able to get a lot more done and make a lot more pins a lot faster, so that you can share those and download them. Any other questions? Go ahead and get them in now while we can before we wrap up here. But yes, Lisa, he was talking about for Canva is what that was for, with a business account. So not with the Pinterest business account, because that's totally free to use with the Pinterest business account. Completely free, don't have to pay for anything there, which is super cool and awesome, which is another reason why we need to take advantage of this and definitely be marketing our stuff on Pinterest. Any other questions that I can answer real fast? Okay, cool. This is really cool. I'll have to show this. This is Noel. He's in the Pinterest for e-commerce course as well. And he's saying that he's working on landing a partnership with a local business. Awesome. It's a bar that sells food. They were talking about having shirts made for their business, which is really, really cool. You could do deals like they could use that for their marketing of their business with the shirts. That's why they're doing that. And say, if you wear your t-shirt on this day, you get 10% off your bill. So that's why local businesses want to create t-shirts, and you could create these partnerships. It's an awesome thing, and you can use Merch by Amazon to do that with. Okay, so he says, I'm excited and curious to see how I can implement for Pinterest. So you could even, you can do it for all of your stuff. Specifically for this business, I suppose you could do the marketing for this business if you wanted to, but it would be setting up their profile to be local to their local area. But definitely I would do the marketing on Pinterest. It's not going to hurt to do that in a way where you could create a whole board. This is what I would do. In your own Pinterest account, create a whole board that is all about this business, maybe specifically. So it's very specific to your local area, to that particular restaurant. You could pin stuff from the restaurant, like the menu, from their website, all kinds of really cool, interesting stuff, and then put in your t-shirts. That might be an idea. So if people happen to look on Pinterest for that specific restaurant, they could find an entire board put together that is all about that restaurant. So that might be an idea of how you could use, Pinterest to market stuff with that business that you are partnering with. That would be one way. Now, the business themselves might want to create a Pinterest presence. If they do, then you could certainly really expand that a lot further, and they could make more and more t-shirts, and that would be cool. Where it could be a lot of different types and fun types of t-shirts that people could buy. You could take those t-shirts, and it could be like boards that you create that are food related boards. They could be restaurant related boards that you could put those shirts in. So there's a lot of possibilities. You have to, one thing about this is you got to get creative and think outside the box a little bit, but there's a lot of different ways that you could market just about any kind of product on Pinterest. And think outside the box of the different boards you could create and the different ways that you can get that in. So, okay. Lauren is here. Hello, Lauren. This is awesome. This is funny. She says that the marketing management done for you is the bomb. That's cool. Yeah, I've been working with Lauren with her business and getting a lot of traction built up, starting it from scratch and getting tons and tons and tons of traction built up so that it can really drive traffic to her website, drive traffic to her Shopify store, drive traffic to her products wherever that she's selling at. And we've been working on that the past couple months. So that's awesome. So I do offer those services in case you are interested. And I'm building out a team, so I'm able to handle more people now with anyone who really doesn't have the time to do this themselves and they want to basically hand it off. I'm more than happy to do some things for you, and you can I can put a link in the comments and you can check that out later of different types of things that I offer. So whatever it is that is taking up too much of your time, there may be something I could do, even if it's just a consultation call. I can help you and give you some direction and some guidance there. So, okay. Yeah, I know what you mean here, Wendy. So let's answer this one. Okay, so the question is, when creating a board and subboards, what she's really meaning are sections, is what she means by that. There are, inside of the boards, we now have sections. This is a brand new development. It's huge and it's awesome. So when you are creating sections within your board, she's asking, do we put all of our keywords in the main board? Yes. Yes. You don't have to, but I'm taking the strategy of, here's what I'm doing. And I want to see if it works, because I think this could really have the potential to be just awesome. What I'm doing is, of course, using an excellent keyword for the board title. For each section within the board, I'm also picking a major keyword to title the board section, because I look at it as one more opportunity to get in a keyword to help people find that board. Then what I'm doing, this is like the next secret step, is I'm taking that title of the section and I'm putting that in the actual board description itself. So now you are really hitting that board hard with tons of different keywords. And it all works well because you can take one board and create all these different sections within it, which gives you more opportunity to include more keywords, title the sections, and it makes sense too. And then you take all of those keywords, those section titles, and you put them in your board description. And so now you've got those keywords like flooded everywhere within your board. And what's going to happen is you're going to start ranking number one for your board for way more keywords than what you could before. That's my theory. I don't know if it will happen, but I'm going to test it and find out. I think it's worth it. I think it's this whole new way of organizing your boards to have these sections is just an amazing opportunity for us. And so if you don't understand the search engine of Pinterest, how to do the SEO, I'm telling you, you're missing out, because your competitors, they do not know this stuff. This is what I teach in the course. It's the main thing that you need to learn in the course. If you don't learn anything else, learn that. You will beat out your competitors every single time, because none of them understand that Pinterest is a search engine. They don't know how to use it, really. So what they're doing is they're pinning stuff on there and no one is seeing it. It's not going to give that far of a reach. What's going to happen is you come in, you start putting your stuff on Pinterest that's similar. But guess what? Your stuff is going to be seen by people. It's going to get a huge reach and build a big audience, because you actually know how to do it in a way for people to find it in the first place. So that is a huge, huge thing that you need to take advantage of. Cool. Any other questions? These are awesome questions. Just trying to help you get a great, great start for all of the Merch by Amazon people, because that's been the hot topic right now. The guide is now a part of the course. So that's going to help you do your Merch by Amazon stuff fast and quickly. You can basically fast track your Merch by Amazon stuff on Pinterest, and get it going now while there's time. So that is really, really cool. Trying to see if there's any other questions here. I don't think so. So let's maybe wrap it up for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you're just tuning in now, you can wait for this video to end, and then you can watch it right away immediately. And also go to Pin Traffic Power on YouTube to see any of these past videos. You might learn some stuff and be able to even see some interviews that I'm doing with people who are experts in other areas. So that is really, really helpful. For example, yesterday was with Ian Bauer, who was talking about how to hire a VA. I'm going through his course. It's amazing. It's very, very useful. I was able to conduct interviews last night and this morning for some VAs, and I have one now that is super excited. She's going to be awesome. And so she's the first one that I'm going to add onto the team. And I used Ian's course to help me figure out, how do I do this? Because he has the whole system like laid out in place. I mean, there are swipe copy files that you can just use. Very simple, very easy. All you have to do is just follow all of his files, exactly what he says, and you get your first virtual assistant hired within a short amount of time. So I just started taking the course like a week ago, and I put up my ad on onlinejobs.ph in the Philippines. And by doing that, I had 11 applicants within a matter of 3 days. 11 applicants just for doing nothing but creating Pinterest pins, which I was amazed by that. So I started going through their resumes. I started going through their portfolio. I started asking questions, and then started conducting interviews. And I'm done with all the interviews now, and I'm ready to hire the first one. And she's going to get started in the new year. So that'll give me time to get everything set up. But I wouldn't have been able to do it that fast if I had not gone through Ian's course, where he's got everything laid out step by step by step. And he's got 8 VAs that works for him. So he's got experience with this and shares all of his things that were his mistakes. And then the things that he found out helps and does it well, so that you don't waste all your time trying to find the right VA. All right. You can get it done quick. So here, from start to finish, I took the course starting last week. I started, I'm a person where I just jump in immediately and start doing. Okay. So that's what I did. And now in just 1 week, I will have my first one hired. No problem. It just did not take that long at all. So that's really, really cool. So to answer your question here, Jill, what I did was I went to onlinejobs.ph onlinejobs.ph. So this is the VAs in the Philippines. And I was, I don't know, I was thinking about this for a long time. Like, where should I go to find some VAs? What's going to be affordable? What can I actually afford in my business right now? So that's going to be different for each person. Very, very circumstantial too for you. And I thought, this is not a job that it requires this huge skill level. It's just creating some Pinterest pins. And I'm not a designer whatsoever. And I create Pinterest pins. I do 50. I've been doing 50 a month for any clients, and then for myself too. And I've been doing it myself. And so I need to hire someone to be able to help out. That will also be able to increase the volume too of Pinterest pins that can be created for everybody. So anyone who is having a hard time saying, man, what's slowing me down in my business are getting these Pinterest pins created, there's a couple options. That could be your first step. Is you could hire a VA and give them just that job. You could do that if you want. If you don't want to go through all of that, you could, I offer that service as well, where I'm able to create Pinterest pins for you and just have them done. And then you don't have to worry about that part, and you can do the rest of the stuff yourself or hire a VA to do the rest of the stuff, whatever you want. So those are two options. So I began using the Online Jobs PH, and it's been really, really easy. Really easy user interface to figure out and to work through. The reason why I did not use Upwork is because I found out that Upwork takes a percentage from the pay of the VA. That's what they do. That's how they get paid. If I go to onlinejobs.ph, I pay for the subscription to use their site, and then I pay them separately. The VA, you pay them separately, and you don't have to keep your subscription to the onlinejobs.ph anymore, because you've already found your VA. So you can end that as soon as you find your VA, and you pay them separately. The VA gets the full pay. They do not have a percentage taken out of their pay that goes over to the service. All right. So that was one reason. A second reason is I didn't realize this, but the communication and the English in the Philippines is phenomenal. I was blown away by the applicants writing back to me and applying for the position. Their English was really, really good, almost better than a lot of Americans, to be honest with you. I scroll through the Facebook page, and, people post their stuff, and I'm telling you, when I was reading these applicants, their English was better than what you would see by an average American posted on Facebook. I was really impressed. So that was one fear that I had, and you can watch that video that we did yesterday. It's loaded up on YouTube, of talking with Ian about that, of how I was really impressed by the English, really impressed by the communication. They know the American culture really, really well. They understand it really well. So they will understand slang and other things that we have in the American culture, because they watch the stuff on YouTube. They keep up to speed with the American culture really, really well. Odesk, I've never used that before. There are some other ones out there. They're probably a bit more expensive. If you were to use many of those, there's going to be people from all over the world, many, many different countries, and they're all going to have different cultures, and they're all going to have different things that they value or don't value, or their communication might be different as well. So, you have to be pickier, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You would have to be pickier with who it is, making sure that the communication is really good. Their English is very good. that they are just fine with jumping on a video call with you. They have a webcam that they can use so that you can work together on projects, or if you need to have a meeting with your team, it's really super easy to do that. And they have to be willing to do that so that you really can work as a team together. So those are some things that I made as requirements for them to understand, that they've got to be willing and able to jump on a video conference call if we need to hold a weekly team meeting, so that we can work together and be on the same page with that. Okay, cool. Well, let's wrap it up for today. Oh, Etsy and Printful. Okay, these are questions also as well. There are people, yes, that are doing the Etsy. They're selling on Etsy, their print-on-demand stuff using Printful. Okay. If you are doing that, it's the course that I offer is going to work for that as well. If you sell on Etsy, basically in general, it doesn't have to be print-on-demand stuff, anything Etsy. And if there is enough people in the course, which I actually don't know of anyone quite yet in the course that sells on Etsy, there might be one or two, there might be a small handful. If you want a course guide specifically for Etsy and not for anything else, let me know. And I can put together a course guide so that it's your fast track way of getting your Etsy store marketed quickly and easily on Pinterest. And we'll fast track it. We'll do the course guide so that you know what parts of the course you need to really concentrate on, and the parts that you can skip, that you don't need right now, because it's not related to what you need for Etsy. So, and then one common question a lot of people have is, do I need a website in order to use Pinterest or to market your stuff on Pinterest well? Absolutely no. You do not have to have a website, okay? If you do have a website, you definitely want to share it and get your domain verified, but you don't have to have a website in order to do well on Pinterest. That's something that you could incorporate in later down the road if you want to, but things can do very, very, very well in Pinterest without a website. The one thing that's nice about having a website is that you can get rich pins. And those rich pins give a little bit of extra juice to your pins. That's what's nice about having a website. But that's not something that you have to have in order to do really, really well on Pinterest. Okay, awesome. Let's quit for now. If you have more questions, you can certainly leave them down below in the comments. And if you're inside the course, you could definitely leave some comments there, and I can go in and answer them later. But let's get busy working on our Pinterest stuff, and let's get a head start with our Merch by Amazon stuff on Pinterest, and really try and rock it this year for 2018. We'll talk later.